Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate day number 744, Sunday, April 7th, 2019. Thank you so much for tuning in. Alrighty, beautiful day here in southern Ohio today. Our first day was really warm and sunny and nice. It was like 75 degrees and just very nice out today. Got the grill out, Patty. That's right, Patty, I got my grill out now. See, I can compete a little bit now. So yes, had me a grill out today, and it's all good. So let's get on with what we have going on here. Let's start with this speech that Barack Hussein Obama gave in Berlin. He said a lot of things in here. I don't have time to go through everything, but there's one specific thing I thought I would focus on. And I think this is something that if anything he said in the entire speech that Democrats should be paying attention to, it is this. Because he's saying exactly what we all been saying around here for a very long time, which is pretty obvious to everyone except for the loonies. But it's obvious to even Hussein Obama. So he says, in fact, Obama is lamenting that progressives obsessed with purity on ideological issues could be creating a circular firing squad by taking aim at their allies. He even uses the word I use. Maybe Hussein Obama's been watching my videos, or many other people's videos, because we've been pointing this out now, me and various other people. Tim Pool probably, who's arguably well on the left of me. Even Tim Pool has been arguing about this for a very long time. It's very obvious to anyone who is paying any attention at all that what happens when you get this large group of people who have this real ideological, political bent, and then they get very almost militaristic about it. What happens is you get these large groups, and then within these large groups, as they get larger and larger, you begin having differences within these large groups, and so they begin to break into subgroups. We see this with the LGBT. I mean, years ago it was just gay and lesbian. Now there's about 60 different definitions, and because of that, at some point, these groups, which become subdivided, begin turning on themselves because they cannot coexist. And this is what we see, and this is the problem with this type of ideological approach to trying to create this groupthink effect. This is why it's so important that everybody be individuals and everybody think like individuals and avoid getting too much into this group think. You can join groups, but you have to have your own individual group think, and you can't be sort of militant about the way that you go about things. And conservatives, libertarians are okay with that because we're generally liberty-minded individuals, thinkers anyway. But the left, they're into total groupthink. They're into total ideological, militant type approaches to forcing people to adopt their ideas. It's like for the average libertarian conservative, we say, okay, well, I can live with homosexuality or whatever, even though I disagree with it. Or I can live with people who want to be pro-choice, even though I disagree with it. But on the left, their approach is no. You cannot have that view. You must not only be able to tolerate these views that you disagree with, but you must change the way you think. You must endorse these things. You must celebrate these things. You must get behind these things. And if you don't, you're wrong. And so when you have this type of militant approach, which forces people into groupthink, eventually they get squeezed, the various groups within. And therefore, they begin turning on each other, a circular firing squad. We've been seeing this happen in all of these leftist movements, and they eventually eat themselves. This is basically what Hussein Obama is trying to explain to these leftists. Unfortunately, they're too stupid to understand this. And this is the problem that the leftists like Obama and the Right Reverend Clinton and all the rest on the left, this is the problem that they have, is that on one hand, they have a loyal group, a large group of people who buy into their bullshit because they're too ignorant, too stupid, or too lazy to think for themselves. And that helps them when it's time to round up all the sheep. But it hurts them when they actually have to rely on those very same people to be rational, because by their very nature, they're not rational. So it's a double-edged sword for the left. You know, they can't just have a group of people who they can flip a switch and turn them on and turn them off. Today, they're a bunch of idiots who will buy into anything from the left. And then the next day, you need to have them be able to think and rationalize for themselves. It doesn't work that way. You know, they only have one position on that switch, and it's on all the time. So this is the problem, and we've been pointing it out for a long time. It's the reason why you see the left eating the left. And it's the reason why, just like yesterday, we were talking about the left-wing media outlets now going after Kirsten Gillibrand because her parents were involved in this, freaky sex thing. And then we have, of course, Biden taking heat because they don't like his non-apology for his touchy-feely stuff. So here we can see this is going to continue on and on and on until eventually the real fights and the real ugliness and the real bitter hatred and the topsy-turvy sort of world that's going to engulf these people is going to come from within. It's not going to be from Trump. It's not going to be from Republicans. It's not going to be from me or you. It's all going to happen within their own subgroups. And this is why we can do nothing less than win big. We're going to win big. Just be patient. Well, what do we have here? It appears that the skateboarder, Bobby O, who's worth $9 million, and whose father is a billionaire, his father-in-law is a billionaire, is out lying again. And, you know, when I look at this field of Democrats, I'm thinking, man, I would love to see Trump run against this person, against this person. You know, when I look at the skateboarder, Bobby O, I think, man, I'd love to see Trump in a debate with this guy. He would just shred him, absolutely shred him. But then I look at Gillibrand, or I look at Cory Booker, or I look at Kamala Harris, or I look at Pocahontas. I look at all these people. I want him to be able to run against all of them. And, you know, the fact of the matter is, Trump could probably single-handedly defeat the entire current field of Democrats with one arm tied behind his back. And probably while he's reading the newspaper at the same time. With about a third of his brain power, he could probably defeat all these people at one time. This is how bad it's gotten, though, and this is why this guy has no chance, because this is the type of stuff, again, that, and this shows two things about Bobby O, that he's, number one, he's not a national candidate at all. He's just a hack. He's a political activist. He doesn't have the chops for national politics anyway. Despite the fact that he could have the entire media behind him, he just doesn't have the chops for it, and if he gets into a debate with Trump, he'll be shredded. But also, this shows us that he's not getting the traction that he thought he would get, considering the amount of money. I mean, this guy raises a lot of money, but it doesn't translate into victory. He raised double what Cruz did, most of it money from outside Texas, but he didn't win. And Cruz, let's face it, Cruz is not the most likable guy on the planet, you know? So, let's just cover a couple of the really disturbing and disgusting things that came out of the pie hole of one Bobby O, the skateboarder. He says that, in fact, in this little speech, and it wasn't really a prepared speech, it was sort of a Q&A he was doing with some media people, and he compared Trump's rhetoric to the Third Reich. And then he lies, and he claims that Trump called immigrants animals. Everyone knows this is a lie. It's been debunked 1,000 times. It happened a long time ago, but they're now regurgitating it all over left-wing media as if it just happened today. No, it happened a long time ago, but because O'Rourke went out and commented on it, now they're sort of trying to bring it back and resurrect it. And again, they're getting it all wrong, completely out of context. So let's have a look at a couple things he just said. He told this reporter that Trump calling human beings, he said that Trump was calling these human beings an infestation. An infestation. Yes, he's referring to the fact that when people are illegally pouring across your border and you can't control them, they're overwhelming you, that it is an infestation. That is a perfectly legitimate word to use. There's nothing radical about that. It's a very simple statement of fact. Now, you can plug in any other word that you want to replace the word infestation. There's many different words that have the same meaning of infestation, but I think we all know what he means. We are being overrun at our border by people who are illegal. That is essentially an infestation. There's nothing crazy or radical or racist or anything about that. He's simply making a point that is a point of fact that can be proven. It's true. Go down to the border, Bobby O, and pay attention. Talk to the people who work there every day. They'll tell you it is an infestation. And if they argue that point, Trump will win, and he will win big. Because ultimately, the media and even these idiots are going to be forced to admit Trump was right all along, that there was a real crisis at the border. That's where they're going to all end up. He says that describing immigrants who have a track record of committing violent crimes at a lower rate than native-born Americans as rapists and criminals. Okay, so here he is again making a broad general statement, taking Trump out of context and mischaracterizing the point that Trump was trying to make. Again, this is easy to do. You can do it with anybody. I could do it to him. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to deal straight up with what he said. First of all, it is not true. It is not true that immigrants have a record of committing violent crimes at a lower rate than native-born Americans. There are numbers out there that show it's anywhere between 3 and 7% more when you actually plug in all the data, which is the fact that a lot of these crimes committed by illegals happens in sanctuary cities where they simply will not count them. The FBI didn't even keep statistics on this for a very long time. It's only been DHS that's been keeping these statistics, and ICE. We also know from just looking at local court filings that when you look at the percentage of people and we take into account the illegals, when you figure them into the equation, these numbers begin to show up in the 3 to 7% range, higher than average Americans. And prior numbers, you wouldn't see them show up because they were illegal. You see, so once again, and if the skateboarder wanted to really tell the truth about this number, he would investigate it and find that this is true. But even if it wasn't true, whatever the percentage, let's just say it's 1%, and let's just say the average native-born American commits 5%. The fact of the matter is, the native-born American is an American citizen. The problem that we have is that if it's even 1% of illegals, they are illegal. They are illegal, but they get free criminal defense. Do you get free criminal defense if you're accused of committing a crime? Of course not. You got to pay for a lawyer or get the old court-appointed attorney. No. These people actually get good attorneys, and we pay for it. I could go on and on this topic, but we have to move on. Then he said that Trump was seeking to ban all Muslims, all people of one religion. Again, this is a mischaracterization. At the time, Trump was talking about the terrorist who fly the flag of Al-Qaeda. That's what he was referring to. And these people are Muslim. They're not, ISIS doesn't have a group of Christians in it, doesn't have a group of Catholics in it, doesn't have a group of Jews in it, doesn't have a group of Episcopalians in it. No. They're all from the Muslim group. So, again, it wasn't targeting the Muslims, it was targeting the ISIS terrorist. And he doesn't draw this distinction, but Trump did draw the distinction. So again, misrepresenting and mischaracterizing what Trump said. And this is where Trump would just lacerate this fool on stage, and the facts would back him up. And he says that Trump was seeking to ban all Muslims, all people of one religion, because they are different, violent, or threaten us. Yeah, they are different. They're very violent. And yes, they do threaten us. What do you think that their whole cause is, you dumbass? They're flying the flag. They're beheading people. They're doing everything they can to kill anybody who doesn't buy into their own philosophy, even Muslims, even their own folks. So, yeah, exactly. So what the skateboarder is saying is that if you have a group of people who are threatening you with making violent threats against you and people in your country in general, that you should let it go, because you can't really target these people because it's politically incorrect. That's how you end up getting a Hitler, you dumbass. Putting people in cages. I can't believe he actually said that, considering that entire thing was completely debunked. In fact, the photo that they used of the kids in cages, actually was a photo taken during Obama during Obama, Mr. Skateboarder. And also, it's the policies of the Democrats who won't get together and come up with a real solution to how to solve the crisis on the border by changing the policies which motivate these people and in fact encourage these people and in fact reward these people for coming here. And that's how they end up in the cages. We wouldn't have those cages if Democrats would get together and fix the problem on the policy level. And if the skateboarder were the president of the United States, just like Trump, just like Obama, he will be obligated to enforce the law. And based on the current law, that's what they do. That is what they do. I mean, FDR put Japanese people in cages. I didn't hear him complaining about that. Woodrow Wilson, he locked up people for criticizing his decision to get us into World War I, which was based on a lie. And we could go on and on. Again, I would love to see the skateboarder as the Democratic nominee. Trump would just shred him. Absolutely shred him. But unfortunately, it probably won't happen because, again, he just doesn't have the chops. Okay. Let's see. He also said that Trump was saying that the Nazis, the Klansmen, and the white supremacists are very fine people. Again, another mischaracterization, another lie by the skateboarder. He's referring to Trump's statement where he said there was some fine people on both sides, blah, 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 blah. And we're talking about the event that happened back during this protest, back in last summer. And, of course, that's been debunked a million times. He wasn't referring to these Klansmen. He wasn't referring to white supremacists as being very fine people or Nazis. He was just suggesting in a general statement that there were good and bad people on both sides, which is absolutely 100% accurate. Absolutely 100% accurate. So the skateboarder gets it wrong again. And the thing is, he knows it. And what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that the loony lefties know that Trump cannot be defeated honestly. He cannot be defeated on the economy. He cannot be defeated on foreign policy. He cannot be defeated on trade policy, on immigration, or anything else, because he's right where most of the American people are. He's right on all the issues. So they have no choice but to try to spin and lie about everything he says and mischaracterize him and just try to do this type of assassinate his character and his politics, because they can't really tell the truth about what they really believe. If they do, they'll lose really, really bad. And so the only thing they can do is attack Trump. And you cannot win a national election like that. You have to tell people what you're for. And when any of these people come out and talk about what they're really for, and we know what Beto's for, open borders, Medicare for all, and the whole 9 yards, he will lose. And he knows it. Oh, you're not going to believe this next story. All right, are you ready for this? Probably one of the dumbest people in Congress. It's hard. There's a lot of dummies in Congress. Most of them Democrats. But this guy is one of the dumbest. Eric Swalwell. Eric Swalwell is saying that he's running for president and he's going to announce next week. And you know what issue he's going to focus on? This tells you this guy is really dumb. The issue he's going to focus on is gun control. Oh boy, and he's going to start his campaign down in Florida, where he's going to be giving a speech on gun control, a place where they have, I'm pretty sure they have open carry down there, and it's a state that overwhelmingly supports open carry, or concealed carry, one of the two. I know they are allowed to have gun permits in Florida. This is an issue that will cost you 40 states. If you run on gun control, you will lose 40 states. That's why Democrats shut up about it and say, well, they protect the Second Amendment and honor the Second Amendment around election time. That's why they don't talk about it. This guy is going to try to base his entire campaign on gun control. Oh my God, that is a really bad idea. And of course, you've got to be really stupid to come up with a plan like that. And of course, Eric Swalwell is exactly that type of individual. But now we do have a somewhat serious Democrat who's thrown his hat into the ring. He has announced he's also in. I guess that makes him, what, number 12? So it's Tim Ryan, the Democrat of Ohio, who's been working behind the scenes for the past 2 or 3 years trying to oust Pelosi. He's very unpopular with the Democratic establishment because of that fact. Pelosi will make sure he can't raise a dime. Believe me, this guy, they will cut his legs out from underneath him very quickly. But I think he's pretty clean, and he's a fairly reasonable individual. I don't have a major problem with him. I wouldn't vote for him under any circumstances. He is on the left. He's kind of a pro-union, blue-collar. That's kind of his main thing. He's kind of a blue-collar Democrat here in Ohio. But he just doesn't have any... he just doesn't have the stuff. Again, he doesn't have... He's like O'Rourke. He doesn't have the chops. And the Democrats will never support this guy. He's not far enough to the left of the lefties. He's pissed off the establishment because he's tried to take out Pelosi for too long. He doesn't really have a constituency among the power base. He would have to rely on a bunch of blue-collar workers in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Pennsylvania, and the Rust Belt places. But he'll never get out of the starting gate, so it really won't matter. Trump won Ohio by 11. He'll win bigger in 2020. And Tim Ryan will not even be a factor. Well, we have Joe Biden, while speaking to union workers, telling a reporter that, quote, oh my God, telling reporters that, quote, I wouldn't be surprised if more women come forward to accuse me of abuse or excessive sniffing. Oh, God. Oh, God. They don't call him the gaff master for nothing, man. This is like the last thing you ever do. It's like a guy who's being charged for like a felony, a bank robbery or something, and going out and telling the reporters that, yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised if I get charged with some more bank robberies. Oh my God. Probably not the best thing he could have said. Oh my God, this guy is the gaff master extraordinaire. I mean, the Right Reverend Clinton, she doesn't have to worry about taking this guy out. He's going to take himself out. He's a moron, man, of the highest order. I wouldn't be surprised if more women come forward to accuse me of abuse or excessive sniffing. What the hell is excessive sniffing? Any sniffing is bad, dude. There's no such thing as excessive. Even is excessive, dude, when you stick your nose in someone's face or in their hair and starts. I mean, that's freaky, man. Something wrong with him. And it should be noted in this particular speech, Biden did not even mention the New Green Deal or Medicare for All. Those two things are slam dunk. If you're not for the New Green Deal and Medicare for All in the Democratic Party today as a candidate, you are done, man. You are done. He doesn't get it. This guy just doesn't get it. Don't look now. But Megyn Smelly, you thought we were rid of her for good. I was certainly hoping we were rid of her for good. I hope she crawled back into the hole she crawled out of and we'd never hear from her again. But no, it looks like Megyn Smelly, after cashing out like $38 million for the remaining part of her contract, after she was fired from another network, it looks like she's now trying to worm her way back into Fox. Back to the right. She's going to go back to the right. I don't think so. If Fox brings Megyn Smelly back on, their viewership will drop by a million viewers overnight. Horrible decision if they do that. I pray to God this is not going to happen. I cannot imagine Megyn Smelly coming back to Fox. That is just mind-boggling that they would be that stupid. And this is a strange turn going now with what's going on with the Brexit. Of course, for those of you keeping up, Theresa May has gone back to the EU trying to get an extension. An extension, I think, that would even go beyond the European Parliament elections, which means that they would actually have to gin up some quick elections, maybe for a month or something, to serve in the EU for a month or whatever. But it appears that the guy blocking that and could actually force a hard Brexit, a little late, but force a hard Brexit anyway, is Macron. It's Macron that is saying, no way, no extension for the Brits, get out. So Macron is the guy that could very well block. Now, Merkel is for it. Merkel is for the extension. Mr. Tusk is somewhat for the extension, but he has, as always, he has, some things he wants to throw into the mix. But you've got Macron taking the hard line, saying, no, I'm just tired of dealing with this. Let's just be gone. We just want you gone. Just leave. Just go. hard Brexit, real hard Brexit, whatever. Just go. So now it looks like it could be Macron who delivers the final blow and actually could be the hero for Brexit. While his own city goes down in flames and him along with it. Oh my God, what a disaster. Yes, and then of course we've got Jill Biden. If it's not cringy enough that she's married to Joe Biden, she, in this new book that's going to be coming out that she just written, is actually saying in the book that when she first met Joe, he creeped me out too. God. Yeah, he creeped me out too. That's what she's going to say in the new book. That's just what he needs right now. His wife coming out with a book saying, yeah, he creeped me out too. Oh, God. She could be Dumbass of the Week. She'll be competing very, very closely with her husband for Dumbass of the Week. Could be a tie. Could be Biden and Biden, like, put them together because they're both gaff prone as hell. This is unbelievable. Let's see. We have Bernie, Commie Bernie, telling Trevor Noah that open borders is not a viable, plausible approach. Can't have open borders. Oh boy. Now isn't Commie Bernie the skateboarder's hero? Well, if that's true, apparently the skateboarder's hero is not down with the skateboarder's ideas. The skateboarder wants to bring down all walls. Here we have Commie Bernie saying that we have to have the open borders is not a viable, plausible approach. And that we can't have open borders. And what is driving this? Why is Commie Bernie saying these things? Well, because Commie Bernie understands the simple economic facts of the situation, that as we have more and more of these immigrants plowing into the country, that they lower wages. And this is one of his major groups of people that he talks to. And he knows when he goes and talks to these people in that particular group, which is where a lot of his support comes from, these blue-collar workers, they know that these illegal immigrants come in are what's costing them, driving down wages and costing them union jobs and all these other things. And so Bernie cannot go out and ride that train of O'Rourke and the rest of them, because the people he directly counts on for the strongest part of his base know it's bullshit. And so Bernie is caught between a rock and a hard place here. He knows that the popular line to get the Democrat nomination is to be totally allow for open borders, but at the same time, his base, which is largely in the Rust Belt, in the Northeast, are people who know that's bullshit, and they know that you need to have some control over who comes into the country. You need to control immigration, otherwise it drives down wages. And they can see in the numbers where Trump has been very successful in having rising wages because he is reducing the number of illegals coming into the country. This is showing up in the numbers, and it's benefiting Trump, and it's helping Trump with these blue-collar workers, which is where Bernie's target is. So Bernie is competing with Trump in this particular situation, and the rest of the Democrats don't understand this, and that's why they cannot win in the Midwest and the Rust Belt, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Michigan, Wisconsin. You cannot win when you go out there and talk about a total open borders policy, because the rank and file blue collar voters, workers, understand this very well, and that's one reason why the Right Reverend Clinton lost to Trump, and why he won those states in the Rust Belt, and why he was so successful. It was his immigration and trade policy. Immigration and trade policy. And there's no Democrat out there that can challenge Trump on his immigration and trade policy. They need to have his immigration and trade policy to be successful. But he's the one that did it, and he took those voters from them. And now they're trying to get him back. But it's too late. They've lost them. It's a decision they made at the DNC to give up the white blue-collar worker vote in order to get the illegal and Latino vote. It was exactly a decision that was made by the DNC. Sorry, Bernie. It's not going to work out for you. Peter's been stroking us. Has been caught in another lie. Peter's been stroking us said in testimony, under oath, that he never texted from a SCIF, which is, of course, a sensitive compartmental information facility. SCIF. Sensitive compartmentalized information facility. When you go in there, you're supposed to turn in all your devices. He said under oath in testimony he never texted from a skiff. Yet, we have transcripts of texts that show that he did, in fact, on multiple occasions, including on one that he actually tells Loose Lisa Page where he is. He says on August the 11th, 2016, quote, "We are in Jim's skiff. We are in Jim's skiff." Just another lie, and one of these, and probably one of the many lies for which he'll be referred for lying to Congress under oath to the Attorney General. We'll have to see if William Barr acts. He's going to have to at some point. Well, well, well. Look who popped his head up out of the hole. No shit Sherlock Christopher Wray. No shit Sherlock Christopher Wray was asked while doing some sort of a speech. He was asked afterwards by some reporters when he took some questions. And he said that he was asked about the Mueller report, and he said he hasn't read it. Hasn't read the Mueller report. Doesn't even appear to be all that interested in reading it. The Mueller report? Oh, I haven't read it. No, haven't read it. No big deal. Not interested. I don't know what Christopher No Shit Sherlock Wray does, but we know what he doesn't do. He doesn't take a look at all the serious problems and the serious crimes that were committed by people in the agency that he's now the head of, and he has done absolutely nothing to clean up the mess. He's done absolutely nothing to unearth the truth about what really happened and what people in his organization did. That, to me, makes him guilty of being part of a cover-up. He is part of the cover-up. He's covering up a crime. And he, along with Uncle Bob the Executioner and the Hillary donor posse and all the rest, should be drug off in ankle chains as soon as possible. Christopher No Shit Sherlock Wray. I'd fire his ass tomorrow if it were me. And indict him on top of it. He's covering up the crimes. That's exactly what he's been doing. So, Trump sent out a series of tweets today. I'm going to throw these out there. I don't have time to comment much on them today, but tomorrow I will, because it's something I'm going to talk about on tomorrow's video about what we can expect now that we've reached this point. The Mueller report is out. It's becoming, people are now, because the Mueller report is out, we're now seeing people coming out of the woodwork who have things to say about what really happened. We got Papadopoulos all over the media following his book coming out. We've got various other people coming out. This woman, Lakova, now coming out. We've got all these people now, and this is what you're going to see. Now that the Mueller report is out and people are safe and they're not worried about being indicted or SWAT raided by Uncle Bob, they can feel free now to talk about what they know. And you're going to start seeing a lot more of this coming about. And because people are anticipating that certain things are going to be released, we have the IG report coming out probably in about a month or two. We have Nunes, Jordan, and Meadows are going to be making more than a dozen, maybe 24 criminal referrals to Barr. You got Lindsey Graham getting ready to start his investigation. You continue to have all these journalists working on the story. I continue to follow the story every day very closely, along with all of you and many others. And so we have now reached another important point in this deal. We've reached this point where the Mueller investigation is over, and now we've got that behind us, and now it's time to move forward with the real crimes that occurred. And so tomorrow I'm going to be talking a little bit about how I think that this might play out over the next weeks and months and even years to fully unravel what really did happen and what we can expect to come out of it. So tomorrow I'm going to be going through these Trump tweets that he put out on Saturday. They're very epic tweets. They give you a lot of insight into what Trump is thinking, what's going on in his head, and why I've been saying for the longest time that we are going to get to the bottom of this to a great degree. And over the years I've been doing this, the 2 years I've been doing these TowerGate videos, I used to always see, like a year ago, I'd always see in the comment section, oh, this is never going to come out, the truth will never come out, they're going to bury it and cover it up, and certainly they're going to try. But now I don't see very much of that in the comment section. I think most people understand that this thing is about to get aired out, and that's good. We're winning. I'll be back tomorrow, and we will get onto this. So be back tomorrow. You guys have a good night. See you then. Bye.